are unfamiliar faces to this audience, but you're here talking about something a little bit different. So what is Equity Angels?
Well, Equity Angels is a social impact organization that we've created to really bridge the gap between prop tech starters and those who are interested in raising capital. So bridging the gap for the underrepresented and underestimated entrepreneurs within our industry.
And what do you mean by underrepresented or underestimated?
We're talking about people who look like us, but we're also talking about people who are able-bodied individuals. We're looking at individuals who are experiencing ageism right now, which is real. We're starting to understand that as we get a little bit older. But we're also looking for individuals who may not have access to the right networks, the right opportunities, access to capital, being able to help them bridge ideas to creation and really being able to bring a product to market.
Well, let's start with, why are you doing this? What is it that motivated you to start this?
I'd love to get into that. Well, firstly, I want to say thank you to all the hardcore audiences that are still here. Thank you. And thank you, Inman, for putting on such an amazing event. Kenya and I actually met at a conference 3 years ago. We were invited to speak on DEI by Dan Wiseman of the NAR. And since then, her and I have been sharing the stage to talk about DEI. And for the first couple of years, we felt empowered, okay, we're sharing information, but then it started to feel repetitive. So just to showcase one of the slides we would demonstrate at our talks, it shows here that realtors, there's 62% women. However, about less than 5% are in leadership roles. And even if you read the fine print there, even NAR admitted that in order for us to change that, it's going to take a lot of commitment. And so for Kenya and I, we didn't want to just keep talking about it. We decided, let's put some action behind our words and let's make a commitment and try to make a difference.
I had a great illustration of this that I shared with you two before we came on stage, which is that I spoke at CEO Connect as well. And at CEO Connect, which is an invitation-only part of the Inman conference, I went to the bathroom, and there was, during this break, a line around the corner of men waiting for the men's room, and I walked straight into the ladies' room. So for any women in the audience, you really understand how unusual that is.
Yeah. Highly unusual. But that goes back to what Kat mentioned before. We want it to be a part of the change that we want to see. Mm-hmm. There is no excuse nowadays to say that you can't find someone who is of a certain gender or of a certain race or of a certain ethnicity that is thriving in the prop tech space. So we want to make sure that we can hone in on the talent that we have within the real estate community. There are a ton of individuals with ideas, but they just don't know where to go. We talked about this as we were prepping for our session. I feel very fortunate that I work for a startup. It's called New Estate Only. It was an idea that an agent had to help make our industry a little bit better. So there's a huge talent pool available within our industry. We just want to help tap into that and to create more opportunities.
So how are you actually going to do that? Because it's interesting.
I know, it's a big task.
Yes.
And so we wanted to compartmentalize, okay, how are we going to change this narrative, right? So for the past few months, we've been exploring what are our key strengths. We're both in sales and marketing. So we're like, okay, let's start with that. And we're also community organizers. Okay, we can work with that. And we're both in the prop tech space. And part of how prop techs have been able to grow in this industry is through great accelerator programs. So we decided to start 2 programs this year. So the first is going to be a fundraise ready accelerator program where we'll invite 10 startups to be a part of our program. Applications are open now. And we'll take those startups through the process of the fundraising journey to help them to refine their pitches, their business plans, and then set up meetings for them virtually and in person with investors in the industry. Clearly, as you know, the venture industry is currently going through a hard time. So part of what we want to do is to be able to give startups access to other types of resources, whether that be angel investors, high net worth individuals, private family offices, foundations. There's a ton of grants out there that need to be leveraged. So we'll help guide the startups through these types of programs.
And the way that we're going to start this opportunity within the real estate industry is through a few key partnerships with real estate associations who understand and embrace technology. We're excited to announce that we have a partnership with the Miami Realtors. Miami Realtors, if there are any in the house, you guys are super innovative, understand what's needed to really take our industry to the next level. And we're excited to partner because that way we can offer our services to an association with members who are engaged, understand that tech is changing our industry, and it's just a lot of alignment there for us to really get started. So super excited about joining Miami Realtors.
Thank you, Miami. The other program too that we're working on is a fractional executive program. And just to Kenya's point, we want to be able to leverage the talent we have in this room. So through this fractional executive program, we'll be able to connect seasoned executives with startups who need access to C-level leadership and can't necessarily afford it at a full-time price. We've actually learned that in the process of looking for fractional executive talent, lots of us Gen Xers and boomers want to stay in the game, want to stay relevant, but some of us may just want to work part-time. Yet we have all this knowledge to share. So through our fractional executive program, we'll be able to connect real estate experts with the tech.
So who are the type of people who you expect to reach out to you? Are you really speaking to people who are like independent brokerage owners or larger businesses? Who do you imagine you'll serve?
You know, what's interesting is innovation can happen anywhere. You know, as we work in the industry, sometimes there are little things that we know could make our jobs a little bit easier and just don't know where to go. So starting with the associations is one way for us to reach out to the real estate community. In addition to that, we are in conversation with some other organizations to be able to help us integrate with their brokers, their agents, but we also have a board of advisors that we work with. So Equity Angels isn't just the two of us. We have a team of advisors that work with us, and they have experience from technology directors with large firms, Amazon. So we brought some top talent in to help direct us, guide us, and make sure that we're reaching out to the right demographic.
We also want to empower agents that through these programs, you can be part of the tech startup world. We want to empower agents to innovate from within rather than being disrupted by outsiders. So through these programs, we hope to do that. And for example, you're thinking, well, I'm not a techie person, right? I don't know nothing about technology. However, as an entrepreneur, agents are actually the best type of professionals that should be part of startups because you have an entrepreneurial mindset. You know how to wear a few hats. There are jobs in tech for operations, for sales, for marketing, for growth, for product development. So these are all key opportunities, you know, that you can be involved in.
And Kat brought up something very interesting, mindset. I think mindset is so important with bracing where the industry is going when it comes to innovation and to technology.
So let's talk a little bit about the vision, you know, where you'd like to see the industry go. What do you really think is possible with initiatives like this? What's your hope for where we'll be in a few years in the industry?
You know, from being involved in the association world for a number of years and attending conferences, sitting in the audience, being able to see people who look like you is inspiring, and it actually gives you hope that you can do it too. So I think that representation is very important. So I think ideally, being able to have players in the tech space that are a better representative of who we are as an industry is one of our goals for sure.
I want you to be able to stand in a bathroom line and actually wait in line at CEO Connect. And also, as far as the numbers that we shared, we want those numbers to change. You know, we want to have more women represented as far as being funded by the VC community, and same goes for people of color. And same goes for age. Again, for us, we're not just addressing gender and race when it comes to diversity. We are also addressing experience and age.
Yeah.
And we know that we can't do this alone. We have several advocates that have been super supportive along the way to ensure that this message is out there and has true support. Bernice Ross with Inman News, Dan Weissman with the National Association of Realtors, Miami Realtors, it takes a village when it comes to making and driving change. And if you're interested in getting involved, we'd love to have you on our journey.
I do have to give a shout out to Bernice Ross as well. Bernice, thank you so much for all your support.
And one thing I just want to end with in a small way, I think there's this real fallacy that women are not supportive of other women, and that women are competing with other women, which is, in my opinion, a false narrative created by the idea that, like, in the patriarchy, there can only be like a token woman.
Right.
But one thing I was really touched by when we were backstage is I heard the two of you talking to each other, and you were like, "You look so great. You look so great."
She does.
We do.
You do. You both look great. And I just want to end with how I think we can all take that message of kind of inspiration of supporting each other, whether it's in these small ways or in the big ways that you guys are doing with Equity Angels. So thank you so much
Yes.
for what you're doing for the industry.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's interesting. I think that individuals believe it's a zero-sum game, and it's not. There's enough business and opportunity for everyone, and that's what we really hope that we can bring with Equity Angels.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.